Hello, my name is Martin C., and I have the pleasure of serving as the 2020 President of the Financial Planning Association. This year has been extraordinary in the many ways it has impacted people across the country and around the world. The pandemic has not only upended our daily lives, but for many Americans, it has affected them financially. It has been gratifying to see so many in the financial planning profession look to help those who don't typically have access to the critical guidance that financial planners can provide. FPA, our chapters, and our members have rallied this year to make pro bono financial planning available to those who need it. In fact, more than 70 members raised their hands months ago to help those financially impacted by COVID-19. Pro bono financial planning is alive and well, and the work our chapters are doing coast to coast to provide underserved populations with access to no strings attached financial advice is not only impacting lives, but also helping make financial planning a recognized and respected profession. To honor our chapters for their commitment to pro bono financial planning, FPA and the Foundation for Financial Planning created the Power of Financial Planning Award. This award honors an FPA chapter each year in recognition of their commitment to deliver pro bono financial planning in the spirit of FPA's primary aim, to elevate the profession that transforms lives through the power of financial planning. Now in its second year, the award recognizes an FPA chapter and its members' efforts to provide free, no strings attached, objective financial planning advice to underserved populations in the previous year. We are delighted to announce that the FPA Board of Directors and the Foundation for Financial Planning have selected FPA of Metro New York as the recipient of the 2020 Power of Financial Planning Award. Pro bono financial planning has been a staple of the FPA of Metro New York for many years. FPA of Metro New York was selected as this year's winner for their ongoing pro bono efforts, but especially for their long-standing partnership with the Family Justice Centers of New York, which are walk-in centers for victims of domestic violence, elder abuse, and sex trafficking. The centers are organized through the New York City Mayor's Office to combat domestic violence and provide a variety of services for survivors by placing lawyers, police, dedicated domestic violence prosecutors, counselors, and other service providers under one roof. FPA of Metro New York works with the Family Justice Centers in Manhattan and Brooklyn to provide weekly financial literacy classes. These classes are 10 to 12 weeks in duration, are taught by chapter pro bono volunteers, and cover topics ranging from goal setting and budgeting to tax and retirement planning. Over the past 12 months, 39 members from the chapter provided nearly 70 hours of financial planning advice to more than 125 individuals at the Family Justice Centers. This program is just one of several ongoing efforts by the chapter. They've also been deeply engaged in pro bono work with Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation and the New York Public Library. Clearly, FPA of Metro New York is a shining example of the power of financial planning. On behalf of FPA, the Foundation for Financial Planning, and the profession, I am honored to turn things over to FPA of Metro New York's pro bono director, Martisha Patterson. Martisha?
Thank you, Martin, and thank you to the FPA and to the Foundation for Financial Planning. I joined the Metro chapter of New York in 2017 and got involved in the pro bono chapter shortly after. I found it was the easiest and most direct way to get involved and to help the community through the power of financial planning. Shortly after, my fellow community member, Ellen Slocum, and I led the committee's Habitat for Humanity program. The following year, I joined the board. From 2018 to 2019, I co-chaired the committee with Kevin Brady. This allowed me to work more closely with the CBO directors and to learn more about their services. I am humbled and honored to continue serving on the board and to lead the pro bono committee in 2020. Between July 2019 and June 2020, we served 5 CBOs, with the majority of these programs running concurrently. As we all know, COVID changed everything in March 2020, and our transition to a virtual format would not have been possible without the help of Robert Hernandez, our board president, Stephanie Carmel, a fellow board member, Clary Delaney, our chapter administrator, Roundy Jones, a fellow committee member, and last but certainly not least, the committee members themselves. The members of our chapter are dedicated professionals who are committed to this work and who are generous with their time. They never fail to answer the call, no matter the demand. Without them, none of this would be possible. I am humbled and proud to represent the Metro of New York FPA chapter and to accept this award on behalf of our Pro Bono Committee. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Dauphiné. I'm CEO of the Foundation for Financial Planning, and I want to extend our congratulations to FPA of Metro New York. What a fantastic program you have. You help so many people, and you really exemplify the spirit of giving back. So again, congratulations on this well-deserved award. For those who are watching who may not know the Foundation for Financial Planning, we are the nation's only nonprofit charity that is solely devoted to bringing great pro bono planning and advice to underserved groups who normally would lack access to this terrific asset. It's a great mission and one that I know we have worked very closely with FPA on over the years. Our partnership goes back a long way. And in addition to this joint award, we also do things like help fund the pro bono director position at FPA National, provide grants to chapters to help with events, provide funding to a lot of FPA chapter community partners so that we can create more and more opportunities for FPA members to give back and help members of the community. We also are really interested in partnering on special projects. And a bit later today, we'll talk about our cancer initiative, which has been a terrific endeavor and something that we have co-created with FPA and another partner, Family Reach. Today, we want to focus on three things. One is something that's consumed so many of us in our time is COVID-19 and the pandemic and what we're doing to respond. The second thing we'll be talking about is our new resource, probonoplannermatch.org. And we hope that those watching will find this very convenient. It's a way for you to find volunteer opportunities right from the comfort of your own home or your own office, sitting at your desk. And we'll be walking through that. And then we have a special treat. We'll be joined by a pro bono client, Naomi, who's going to share her story about how pro bono financial planning helped her. So let's go to the first slide. We all know that the pandemic has created terrible economic hardship for many Americans. And on this slide, you can see some of the data. About half of US households are reporting hardship that stems from the pandemic, economic hardship. And interestingly, about 3/4 of those reporting hardship are saying they're having trouble paying their basic bills. It's really, really a terrible storm economically for many families. And as we know, many Americans did not, before the pandemic, have much in the way of emergency funds to be able to withstand these types of economic shocks. And as the pandemic has seized the country, unemployment has risen, GDP has fallen, and there are a lot of stressed out fellow citizens in this country. Next slide. And unfortunately, in addition to so many families on the economic brink, we're also seeing terrible stresses on the social sector. That's the nonprofits, like the foundation, but also many, many others that deal with things like housing and food that are really suffering as well in this economy. About 83% of nonprofits say they are struggling financially right now. And of course, when low and moderate income families need assistance, often they turn to these nonprofits for help. So with both the social sector and so many families suffering, it really is a perfect storm. Next slide. This is FFP's 25th anniversary year. And as we started the year, we had planned a celebratory but forward-looking campaign. And of course, when the pandemic hit, everything changed. We pivoted very quickly and really wanted to make sure we were doing as much as we could to respond and to help people through this time in our history. Our North Star is to expand the offering of pro bono service to people who need it, especially those affected by COVID-19, and to make sure that the programs remain effective and viable during this era of social distancing and many other constraints. So here on this slide, you can see our 6 priorities for the year. One is being able to generate more and more interest in volunteerism. So we have a new resource that Rachel, my colleague, will be walking you through that will match CFP volunteers to pro bono opportunities, either in their community or available virtually. We're also providing COVID-19 training and resources, and we have a resource center on our website to help. We are creating and expanding programs for groups that are particularly affected by COVID, like seniors and people with serious illness. We're making emergency grants to help our current grantees go to virtual service delivery models, but also to fund new grantees that are offering virtual service delivery right now. We are rallying the profession, trying to stimulate as much giving back as we can, knowing that the need is so great during these times. And then finally, to sustain all this work, we're raising funds for our COVID-19 Financial Resilience Fund. So we have a very ambitious agenda. We're really proud of the work that we're doing. We couldn't do it without FPA, its members, and other certified financial planners across the country. I mentioned the volunteer resource that we've created and we've recently put out there in the market. And I want to turn to Rachel Roth, FFP's Director of Grants and Programs, to walk you through how that works and how you can take advantage of it. Rachel?
Thanks so much, John, and thanks to all of our listeners for being here today. I'm going to give you all an introduction to Pro Bono Planner Match. And throughout this part of the presentation, I'll be showing you some screenshots, but if you want to follow along on your desktop, you can go to probonoplannermatch.org. The Pro Bono Planner Match, as John mentioned, is the first of its kind platform to connect thousands of CFP professionals to pro bono financial planning opportunities. The site was designed for 2 primary user types: potential volunteers, which we define as CFP professionals, and nonprofit hosts or FPA chapter. These are organizations that have pro bono financial planning opportunities to be filled. These organizations will manage the volunteers and the program and be responsible for the intake of pro bono clients. Many provide a range of other services to people in need. They provide training, they troubleshoot challenges, and they're really there for the volunteers. On the homepage, you can also see, really not on this slide, but we have some testimonials. So if you really want to get a sense of how pro bono financial planners can help, check out some of the personal stories from the perspectives of nonprofit hosts, volunteers, or clients. So next, if you are in Pro Bono Planner Match and you click on volunteers or nonprofits in the toolbar at the top of the page, you'll arrive at user-specific landing pages. This is an example of a landing page for volunteers, but if you're seeking to post a volunteer opportunity on behalf of your chapter, or if you're involved with a program at a nonprofit, you'll start on the For Nonprofits tab and go from there. As you can see, the landing page provides clear steps for how to get started and key information to support the engagement. We also have a set of frequently asked questions for both volunteers and nonprofit organizations or FPA chapters posted on the pages if you have other questions. This is the login or registration page. Here, you can sign up to be a volunteer or to be a nonprofit or FPA chapter host. Perhaps your chapter has a virtual financial planning event that you want to recruit volunteers for, or you're partnering with a nonprofit organization in the community that needs financial planner volunteers. Nonprofits or FPA chapters can edit an opportunity to be private and share it only with a private link to a specific audience. So if you have an opportunity that you only want to make visible to your chapter, you can do that. Also note that volunteers can sign up for as many opportunities as they would like. So returning or new users can log in or sign up right from the homepage. Here you can see a sample of volunteer opportunities posted by nonprofit hosts or FPA chapters. CFPs can search and filter opportunities based on the date of the opportunity. It could also be an ongoing opportunity, the location, so the specific geographic area, and whether it's virtual or in person. All of our opportunities now are virtual. And you can also put in a keyword. So like if you're interested in working with the military, you can type in military and you'll find some opportunities. A volunteer can browse the opportunities posted by the nonprofits and view additional details about the organization and the demographic served. And then you can sign up right from your desktop. And here's another slide that has some additional opportunities, just so you can get a sense of some examples. You can see the Atlanta, or the FPA of Georgia chapter, excuse me, has posted a opportunity at the Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation, and they're working with that organization to provide financial planning to some of the constituents. So we also have a dedicated training and resources page accessible to volunteers and nonprofit hosts, no matter where the users are within the site. Great content like our pro bono financial planning volunteer training, workbooks, worksheets, templates, and more. We've created a COVID-19 resource page, including an overview of legislation and webinars for pro bono financial planners and nonprofit practitioners to help those impacted financially by the pandemic. And then finally, what's next? So after they register, CFP volunteers will be sent an email based on their frequency preferences of available opportunities and be invited to apply. When potential volunteers apply, nonprofit or FPA chapter users will receive an email notifying them and will be able to access the volunteer's contact info and begin the onboarding process. We do ask that nonprofit and FPA chapter users return to their profile and deactivate their opportunity once the volunteer slots have been filled. However, the opportunity will automatically expire on the expiration date supplied or after the event has taken place. So once the engagement takes place, the volunteer and nonprofit or chapter host will be presented with an opportunity to give feedback via an automated form triggered by the application. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, Rachel Roth, if you have any questions. I'm happy to walk anyone through the platform on your own, and my contact information can be found at the end of this presentation. So now I'd like to turn the session back to John, who is going to talk more about our resources as well as some of FFP's special programs.
Great, thank you, Rachel. And so far, we've had more than 350 CFPs sign up through the platform and look for volunteer opportunities. And we're working closely with lots of nonprofits across the country and trying to get them to populate opportunities. It's been a little tough with the nonprofits because some are struggling to keep the lights on or retain their staff in this tough environment. But as America recovers from the pandemic and people get back on their feet economically, there'll be more and more programs that can use CFP volunteers to provide pro bono advice to families. So please do register. And even if there's not something right away that captures your attention, over time, we'll be populating more and more opportunities. And when things get back to normal, they'll be available within your community as well as just virtual service delivery. So we really hope you find this to be a good resource. And also for chapter leaders out there, as Rachel mentioned, you can definitely post opportunities that are exclusive to your chapter members. We wanted to create an easy way for chapters to recruit volunteers for their programming as well. So we, as I had mentioned previously, have been working hard to make sure pro bono advisors and our grantees and partners have the right information during the pandemic. And we've been curating a lot of news reports and fact sheets on the emergency provisions in new legislation as it passes, other helpful fact sheets and consumer-friendly information. We're putting that all on our website. You can see right here the address for our Coronavirus Resource Center. We've also recorded a number of webinars on topics that we think are really relevant right now, things like coaching through a crisis or public benefits that can assist pro bono clients during this time period. So please check those out. In addition, we heard from our grantees that our letter of engagement was rather legalese and long. So we've done our best to try to tighten up and make our disclosures simpler. So these are additional tools for our grantees and volunteers to use. And then finally, as Rachel mentioned, we do have our pro bono training. If you haven't taken it, we encourage you to check it out. It's totally free. You can access an FPA version on FPA's site or our version on the FFP site. It's about 50 minutes. And if you're a CFP, you do get a CE credit. It'll tell you what you need to know to start. And we're excited to keep getting the word out about that. As we mentioned, we're really working hard for to bring service to the at-risk groups that are most affected in the pandemic. And so we've actually partnered with AARP to help target at-risk seniors. As we know, older people are particularly vulnerable from a health perspective in this era, but also really can't go out the way they might normally to events. So AARP and the foundation and some of our partners have been doing really great work to bring digital events to seniors who are then able to pose personal questions to volunteer CFPs and get answers by email, or even sign up for a free 15-minute telephone consultation with a volunteer CFP. We've served about 25,000 seniors so far this year. So that's a great program, and we'll be doing more events with AARP in October. We also have a nurses pilot that we're funding with the American Nurses Foundation. And this is specifically to recognize the special stress that healthcare first responders are under in the pandemic. And we will be targeting financially struggling nurses who are COVID positive and making sure they can have access to a pro bono financial planner. We are redoubling our efforts to assist communities of color as well. Generally, our grantees serve about 60% of end clients who are from communities of color, and we will be even more intentional about this in the future. And we are specifically building out our work in this area. And then finally, people with cancer. We've had a long-standing partnership with FPA and our partner Family Reach to bring pro bono financial planning to people with a serious cancer diagnosis. They're very vulnerable, of course, in the pandemic as well. Rachel, if we could have the next slide. This is a quick summary of our progress with this program. We continue to grow it this year with our partners. So far, we've served over 800 families through the service of more than 200 volunteer financial planners from all over the country. And there's more than 50 referring hospitals at this stage in the program. So there's a really strong pipeline of patients that are coming in. And our preliminary data show it's very popular with the clients. We are finding 100% of respondents to our survey said they would recommend this to a friend or family member with cancer, and 83% reported that they are following through on the recommendations of their planner, and they found it easy to do so based on the support that they've been given. So it's a terrific program. If you're interested in volunteering for it, you can find out more on our website. And now I want to introduce our special guest, Naomi. And Naomi actually is a pro bono client. Her family was struck with terrible news when her son Echo was diagnosed with serious cancer. Naomi lives in Austin, Texas, but she was able to tap into the Pro Bono for Cancer program and get remote service from a planner on the East Coast, Donna Tukmanian. Donna was going to join us today, but unfortunately had a family emergency and could not do so. But we are so thrilled to hear from Naomi, and we really want to thank her for sharing her story. So Naomi, I'm going to turn to you if you could just tell us a little bit about your experience.
Sure. Thank you, John. I'm Naomi Young. I live in Austin, Texas, with my husband, Steve, my daughter, Eve, and son, Echo. Echo was diagnosed with leukemia in 2018. Before that, we just had fun doing play dates. I was a counselor in my past. Steve is a video game designer, and we just had fun in nature, exploring, going on hikes, having play dates. And when Echo was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, he was 2.5 years old, and it was a huge shock to all of us, and life just completely came to a halt. And it was all about getting his treatment and just managing his side effects. So I was very terrified at the thought of just life, but also finances. I knew before cancer how just a small ER trip, a little runny nose could end up costing so much money. So the thought of being weeks inpatient in a hospital with ER bills, with 2.5 years of treatment, it was really just felt insurmountable. The financial challenges during treatment are very scary. Any day you could be spending the night in the ER due to fever. You never know when you'll get a $3,000 bill in the mail. And not only is it about the bills, it's also the other costs that people don't always think about. Added gas bills for driving to the hospital, added toll bills, eating on the go, and lawn services, cleaning services, things that we couldn't do because we were busy taking our son to treatment. The first 9 months of treatment were very rigorous and intense, and then followed a 1.5 years of treatment maintenance therapy. When you're in crisis mode, anxieties are high. I started to get very anxious about finances, not just due to the bills, but also due to my lack of knowledge and feeling prepared for the future. So I really needed anything to get help with the anxiety, and I had no idea where I was going to get the help financially. And I heard about Family Reach through our social worker. I was thrilled, and I signed up right away. Free financial planning during a crisis was such a lifesaver. I couldn't even believe something like this existed. Working with Donna helped relieve the whole financial burden being just solely on my shoulders. She was dependable. She was always there to ask questions. We would text, email, make phone appointments. Donna helped me to gain a sense of control back when I'd lost so much control in other forms and aspects of life, feeling like someone was in my corner. And she helped us to reconfigure our bills so it could maximize our income each month, helped us know which ways to tackle debt and paying bills. She suggested refinancing our home also to maximize income, and even got us connected with a pro bono lawyer who helped us write our will. And just knowing that I couldn't control what was happening in the present, but knowing that the future, there was some security, really helped so much. Donna helped me look at finances differently. And later, now I can even learn more about how to save and invest money, all because of her. So she helped me feel at peace and not alone. And I'm so thankful for that these organizations exist, and that financial planners will take their time to do this for families in need. So I'm going to send it back over to John now.
Naomi, thank you so much for sharing your story. And we are so happy that your son Echo and your family, that you're doing well, and so pleased that Donna was able to really help you. And I know when we spoke to Donna, she said how much it meant to her to be able to help you out during a crisis period, and help bring you a little bit of peace of mind during that time. And we've heard from so many people who benefited from this program, that just having that trusted advisor during a really chaotic time can mean so much. So again, we just really appreciate you coming and sharing your story. I encourage folks watching to think about the impact that this has on the lives of the pro bono clients. It's truly wonderful, but it also has a terrific impact, we think, on the volunteers. I had a pro bono financial advisor say the other day, "This work feeds my soul." And what an awesome tribute to the power of giving back through skills and talents that are being provided to people who normally couldn't access those skills. You can help. We encourage you to sign up to volunteer at probonoplannermatch.org. We encourage you to sign up to get our e-newsletter on our website, and we will not deluge you with mail. It comes out about once a month. And we also really encourage you to consider supporting our mission financially. I mentioned, the strong headwinds that a lot of nonprofits are facing, and we too have to support our mission. We know pro bono financial planning and advice will be more important than ever to get Americans back on their feet. And so we have our COVID-19 Financial Resilience Fund. Right now, thanks to the Charles Schwab Foundation, we have a dollar for dollar match going on. It's up to $500,000. It's any individual or firm that makes a donation will get the match dollar for dollar. So you can double the power of your gift. And we really encourage everyone to think about supporting the mission. If you come in with a pledge of $25,000 or more, you will be one of the fund's major supporters, and we will be recognizing you in our donated ads across trade outlets and our media partners like Investment News and Barron's. And you can make a gift of any size. If it's $1,000 or above, you can pay it off over up to 5 years. So again, it's a great time to step up and help us sustain this work. Finally, if you have a donor-advised fund, there's about $128 billion sitting in donor-advised funds, and a lot of people do their giving this way, of course, and it's raining outside. So it's a good time to tap that donor-advised fund as well. So please think about that. We have had a terrific partnership with FPA. We are not stopping. We are growing. We are moving forward in collaboration, and we plan to activate more and more FPA members and others to bring the great asset of financial planning to those who would otherwise go without. Next slide. And finally, we want to leave you with the URL for Pro Bono Planner Match and also Rachel's contact information. If you have any questions, please reach out. We're always happy to help. And we really do cherish our volunteers and our donors and all of the individuals that bring this mission to life so that we can help others. Thank you very much.